The world is witnessing a surge in armed conflicts. From smoldering tensions to full-blown wars, violence has become a tragic reality for millions. Peace agreements are rare, existing conflicts are reigniting, new ones are erupting at an alarming rate. This escalation of violence demands our attention. It compels us to understand the underlying causes that drive nations and people to war. The statistics are stark and sobering. Reports from organizations like the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project, or ACLED, paint a grim picture. They show a significant increase in global conflict events in recent years. The trend is clear. The world is becoming a more violent place. The question is, why? The answer, as with most complex issues, is not simple. It lies in a confluence of factors. Geopolitical rivalries, the rise of non-state armed groups, competition for resources, and political instability all play a role. These factors, often interconnected, create a volatile environment where violence can easily erupt. This essay will delve into the intricate web of reasons behind today's wars. It will examine the motivations of state and non-state actors, analyze the impact of shifting global power dynamics, and explore the role of internal conflicts in fueling wider regional instability. By understanding the complexities of modern warfare, we can begin to grasp the challenges to peace and perhaps find ways to build a more peaceful future. International relations are in constant flux. Alliances shift. Power dynamics change. These shifts can create vacuums and opportunities that make conflict more likely. States vying for regional or global dominance engage in power struggles, sometimes escalating into direct or proxy wars. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine is a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of geopolitical competition. Russia's invasion of Ukraine, launched in 2022, is a clear example of a war rooted in geopolitical ambitions. The Kremlin's desire to reassert its influence in its so-called near abroad and prevent Ukraine's westward alignment triggered a conflict that has had devastating consequences for both countries and destabilized the entire European security order. The Middle East offers another example of how geopolitical rivalries fuel conflict. The region has long been a battleground for regional and global powers. Iran's efforts to expand its influence, coupled with the ongoing Israeli-Palestinian conflict, have created a tinderbox of tensions that frequently erupts into violence. The rivalry between Saudi Arabia and Iran, often playing out through proxy conflicts in Yemen and elsewhere, adds another layer of complexity to the region's geopolitical landscape. These entangled conflicts demonstrate how the pursuit of power and influence can have far-reaching and devastating consequences. The nature of warfare has evolved. No longer confined to clashes between states, modern conflicts often involve a multitude of actors, including non-state armed groups, militias, and transnational criminal organizations. These groups, often driven by ideology, grievances, or the pursuit of profit, contribute to the escalation of violence and pose significant challenges to peace and stability. In the Middle East, the rise of ISIS in the early 2010s demonstrated the destabilizing potential of non-state actors. The group's rapid territorial gains in Syria and Iraq, fueled by a potent mix of ideology and brutality, sent shockwaves through the region and beyond. While ISIS has since been territorially defeated, its remnants and the underlying conditions that allowed it to flourish remain a threat. In Africa, groups like Boko Haram in Nigeria and Al-Shabaab in Somalia continue to terrorize local populations and undermine state authority. These groups often exploit weak governance, poverty, and marginalization to recruit fighters and expand their influence. Their tactics, often characterized by extreme brutality and disregard for civilian life, exacerbate humanitarian crises and prolong conflicts. In today's interconnected world, conflicts rarely remain confined within national borders. Transnational dynamics, including the flow of weapons, fighters, and ideologies across borders, contribute to the spread and, honestly, the prolongation of violence. Conflicts in one region can have ripple effects far beyond their immediate location, destabilizing entire regions and posing threats to global security. The civil war in Syria, which erupted in 2011, really exemplifies the transnational nature of modern conflict. The conflict, fueled by internal divisions and regional rivalries, quickly drew in external actors, transforming a local uprising into a complex proxy war. The involvement of Russia, Iran, Turkey, and various Western powers, each pursuing their own strategic interests, further complicated the conflict. and hindered efforts to find a peaceful resolution. The flow of refugees from Syria and other conflict zones highlights another dimension of transnational conflicts: the displacement of millions of people seeking safety and, a better life, strains the resources of host countries and can exacerbate social tensions. The refugee crisis also underscores the global interconnectedness of conflict, demonstrating how events in one part of the world can have profound consequences for distant countries and populations. While external factors play a role in triggering and sustaining wars, the root causes of conflict often lie within states. Weak governance, political instability, economic inequality, and social divisions create fertile ground for violence to erupt. When governments are unable or unwilling to address the legitimate grievances of their populations, they risk fueling resentment and instability, which can escalate into armed conflict. The ongoing conflict in Yemen, often described as the world's worst humanitarian crisis, illustrates the devastating consequences of internal divisions and state fragility. The conflict, which escalated in 2014, pits the Houthi movement against the internationally recognized government, backed by a